This is a video on the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. What I'm about to say is from my new book, The Common Sense Ethics of a Blue-Collar Philosopher, by S.G. Applebee, available at Publish America and other online bookstores. In essence, there are 4 reasons why all human beings, not just Americans, have the right to keep and bear arms. In no particular order of importance, they are: number 1, hunting. This category is self-explanatory, so I really don't need to go into much detail. In essence, since human beings have the right to attempt to survive, and since sometimes the only way to survive is by hunting, human beings have the right to hunt. And since the most efficient way of hunting at this point in history is with a gun, human beings have the right to own a gun. Or maybe a better way of putting it is, since human beings have the right to hunt, they also have the corollary right to the means of hunting, a loaded gun. You simply cannot have one without the other, period. Number 2, self-defense. Until people who want to ban guns come up with a better way of defending oneself against a criminal element, guns will be the overwhelming weapon of choice. Since human beings have the right to self-defense, then they also must have the corollary right to the means of self-defense, which at this point in history is a loaded gun. Once again, you cannot have one without the other. Number 3, defense against foreign nations. Although most modern Americans don't think of gun ownership in this context anymore, it was extremely important in the past and may indeed be just as important in the future. Just because America is on top now doesn't mean it will remain on top. History is full of civilizations that believed they would last forever, but didn't. Just look at it like this. If you wanted to invade other countries, where would you begin? A country like the United States, armed citizenry, or a country like England, unarmed citizenry? All things being equal, the choice is obvious. After you defeated the English military, the war is over. You win. But if you somehow defeat the American military, the war would just be beginning. A well-armed populace has always been an important deterrent for any would-be aggressive nation, and it will continue to be so far into the future. Number 4, defense against one's own government. As an American, I find it simply amazing that there are people living in this country who are so ignorant of history that they don't understand this crucial point. The Declaration of Independence itself confirms this fundamental idea by explicitly stating that when our rights are endangered by our government, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. Having a well-armed citizenry helps keep an ever-expanding, rights-violating government in check. It's our last line of defense against the Hitlers, Stalins, and Husseins in our own government. Those are the 4 reasons why every human being has a right to keep and bear arms. So until gun grabbers can find ways to guarantee food for all, safety from criminals for all, safety from foreign invasion, and safety from the government itself, every human being has a right to keep and bear arms, even if that right is not recognized by its government. I would also like to make another crucial point here concerning any governmental attempt to ban guns. When the Founding Fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, the idea that the government had the power to ban guns, or any other type of weapon, was so foreign that I challenge anyone to find a single quote from a single person of influence of that time period who even mentioned such an absurd notion. It cannot be done. The Second Amendment was actually written as a way to guarantee the American people the ability to defend themselves against their own government and foreign powers. It really had nothing to do with the right to defend oneself against a criminal element or to hunt food. Those rights, along with countless others, were so basic, obvious, and readily understood, the Founding Fathers would have considered it absurd to even mention such things that were so self-evident. As a matter of fact, during the debate on whether or not to have a Bill of Rights, Noah Webster said that attempting to state all rights held by men would be disastrous. And to prove it, he sarcastically added to a proposed Bill of Rights the following: Congress shall never restrain any inhabitant of America from lying on his left side in a long winter's night, or even on his back when he is fatigued by lying on his right. Obviously, Many founding fathers thought it would be ridiculous to even attempt to state all the rights possessed by man. Just for a few examples, think about these. To begin with, nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to sleep on your left side, your right side, or even on your back in a long winter's night. So does that mean you don't? Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to defend yourself. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to get married. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to have children. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to hunt. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to get an education. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to drink alcohol. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have the right to own a pet, etc. My point being that many of the most important rights possessed by mankind are not explicitly stated in our founding documents because they fall under the banner of the unalienable right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness as expressed in the Declaration of Independence. However, everyone also knew that these rights existed long before the Declaration of Independence was ever written. Thus, the unalienable right to keep and bear arms existed long before any government was even in place, and as such, it cannot morally be taken away by any government, no matter what the Supreme Court determines. What it all comes down to is we, as human beings, have the right to defend ourselves. And inherent in the right to defend oneself is the corollary right to the means of self-defense. You cannot have one without the other, period. Thank you.